We shouldn't even be casting anymore. Let's just base everything off of whatever the hell that was.
What if we made the floor into battle bots?
Oh,
instead of
I
just
miss battle bots.
Battle bots. That was the shit growing up. I remember that on Discovery Channel. Back when I used to have cable.
Back when Discovery Channel wasn't just terrible reality shows.
Yes, TV has really developed in a great way, as has Dota. So, Brood is back. Everybody's favorite hero was out of meta for a week, and now we all get to hate ourselves once again. So thank you very much for that. Ace will be playing the Brood in this game, of course. I think the panel touched upon a lot of the interesting things about this. The Brood Hoodwink lane, the counter pick of Monkey King, and how that is pretty high risk, high reward. I'm very curious to see the lane dynamics here, because obviously some of this, a lot of the time when a new patch drops like this the day before you're playing, you're going off memory, you're going off gut feel, you don't necessarily have you don't have it in your fingers yet, right? Like the perfect understanding of, okay, this deals this much damage, this is how far we can go. And you read the numbers, you're like, yeah, Brood is a bit better, other heroes are a bit worse, is that going to be enough? It was last series. Neo was owning.
Yep, he was. He was.
And if there's anyone in the world that I would trust to be able to pull off a performance like Neo, it would be Ace on his Brood. He's a very skilled player on this hero, and Gaiman have the same read as PSGLGD, that this hero's back. So,
indeed.
Let's see how it goes. They start off with was that just a flat-out 2-for-2 rune split? Looks like it. A bit of a D-ward for Duracio. We'll get some experience along with Celery for that one. And we're off to the races. So Undying Morph lane.
You're expecting the Brood to go for the universal build and not the old Brood build, which is auras, like pipe and whatnot, right? Because the last game, I mean, it was just a small sample size, but I assume because of the universal changes, you're going to be seeing more Harpoon, Manta, etc.
Yeah, it's definitely an avenue that has opened up now, so Brood has more options. I don't think it's a given that you get that because you're universal. I think you look at the game and you look at your lineup and see what makes the most sense. Because, I mean, I look at these heroes on the radio, and my concern isn't do you have enough damage. You have Morph and Void Spirit, so...
True.
I don't think damage is going to be that big of a concern, but at the same time, it can be very powerful for Brood to go right-click here, because it means that whoever Doom uses his ulti on isn't the only carry in the game. So if he dooms the Morph, the Brood can still carry the fight, vice versa. Same with Void Spirit. So, yeah. Curious to see how that plays out. As for BetBoom, I think there's a lot of merit to going auras on Doom in this game. I think you can try to set the pace and not necessarily have to play slow and greedy on your Doom, because as we mentioned, the enemy team has a bit of ramp-up time. There's a Brood and Morph. If you want to play the Brood carry style, it needs items. It takes some time. And Monkey King as well as Ember can play relatively fast together with techies, and especially Disruptor. You have a lot of potential to make aggressive plays, which this region traditionally is known for, is its aggression. And they've definitely drafted for it this game on the side of BetBoom.
Did anything in the patch surprise you at all? Because the literal first thing I scrolled to was Timbersaw.
Yeah, I thought Timber was going to get nerfed.
Oh, absolutely nothing is pure. He's going to take a lot of damage. This will likely be your first blood. And it goes to Duracio.
Might be a double as well.
Blood grenade, save, gets waveformed on. They don't have quite enough. Duracio.
Oh,
sticky bomb applied to him now. He will be able to get out, but that costs him a bit of extra time, but he does pull the entire wave with him.
Yeah, so Timbersaw...
Courier does die, though.
The main nerfs to Timber aren't through what the hero nerfs were for him in particular. It was more about the items, right? The Vanguard, the Octarine.
True.
So he did
say that for a lot of heroes.
Right, so he did get multiple nerfs, but some of them not directly targeted at the hero, but more like the style of build-up that he takes advantage of. So... we'll see how things shape up over the next week here, as I don't want to read too much into it when it's this much in the infancy. Like, some players and some teams are just going to get the right idea off the bat, others aren't, and something that's broken today might suck in 5 days. So it's
yeah, and I would
early
say,
days.
Other than the Vanguard, Octarine stuff, most of the changes were very slight, so even picking the same heroes as last patch, probably okay for the most part, and then you min-max once you get more comfortable with the changes themselves.
Yeah, one of the heroes individually that got hit the hardest is actually the one Quinn's playing this game. Void Spirit got multiple nerfs, but Game and Gladiators still seem to think the hero is just that good. And I mean, in the last patch, I thought the hero was beyond insane, so I'm not surprised that they still think it's good after nerfs. Like, last patch, it was just, let's be honest, it was just egregious, right? Yeah. I played against it a couple of games. I watched these programs like, how is this fair, right? So, but with some tweaks here and there. Are you surprised they didn't do anything about Universal as a concept yet? Do you feel like it needs a bit more time to truly test it through, and then you just nerf the Universal heroes that were too strong, or?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, I feel like it's a bit polar. I don't know if polarized is even the right word. A lot of people just don't give a shit. Very apathetic about this. Like, it's whatever, kind of like whatever mechanic. But I think just some of the heroes were too strong. I think I would be interested to see the patch, which is maybe going to be this one, where the Universal heroes that were very strong get brought back to the ground. And we see how it plays out when it's an even playing field.
Right.
But, you know, these things are tough to anticipate, as Nightfall taking quite a bit of harassment. Was Hoodwink changed at all?
In this patch, I don't.
We didn't really see her at all.
Oh, let me scroll here. I don't remember these by heart. No changes. But I think for Gaimin, it's just back to comfort, because this is like one of their go-to lanes together with Brood. So I think it's they're picking it for this lane in particular and this pairing more so than Hoodwink is better now all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Pressure onto Pure again.
Yep. A couple zombies chasing him, but they're not going to find the space here, as the deny of the tombstone is what Dyrachyo wants.
Oh!
But Techies does get the last hit. It's going to cost him his life, but that's still quite a bit of gold.
What a funny situation. He was like constantly baiting him. Do you want the tombstone? Do you want it? And then he actually failed to deny it. But then they get the return kill. So all in all, it could have been a bit better for Gaimin, but still, trading the tombstone for the Techies kill, more than worth it. And yeah, this is not a lane matchup that traditionally is good for Doom, right? The Undying matchup is obviously rough, and I think together with Morphling, this lane actually poses quite the threat to Pure. So we're seeing him struggling a bit here for starters. And Doom was a hero that got hit pretty hard too, right?
Yes.
This hero got multiple nerfs. He got Devour Gold nerf, the Vanguard nerf, and it was one more thing as well, right? That I'm forgetting.
Armor.
-1 armor.
Quinn. Oh, the blast off hits just barely from save. Which means GPK will be able to take out his counterpart in the mid lane.
People love memeing about -1 armor and these like stats. It was an eye-opener. At one point, I was having a conversation with someone from Valve about it. Like, when you change base stats on heroes, even a little bit, like armor or 2 strength or something, it influences sometimes their win rates by like 1 to 2%. People just meme about this 1 armor, but if you think about it, the effective HP that you get per armor, and you're missing that in every game. So think about, okay, Celery's going to die here while we have that conversation.
Denied? No.
So if you think about a lot of the times in games, you know, sometimes you survive on 10 health, or, you know, maybe you even survive and get a kill, and it was really close, but you were the one to pull out ahead. How big of an implication that has on which team ends up winning the game in the end? And that's what 1 armor can do. It's all the trading that happens in lane. It's every situation throughout the entire game, just that little bit weaker or that little bit stronger. So as much as people love to meme about lol 1 armor, it's actually, it matters.
Definitely true.
It matters more than you'd think intuitively.
I have some experience with that, with the custom game and all. Like, these small changes do have drastic impact potentially, but it also depends on what your goal is as a developer, right? Because sometimes you do want to bring things back into the Stone Age for a bit to give some space, which Brood, I guess, has been for a mini patch.
Pure is in big trouble, man.
No, he's fine.
Doom does not deal well with getting hunted by tombstone zombies. He has pretty bad attack speed, and he's not exactly the fastest hero either. So he will get away that time, but yeah. This is the best lane so far for BetBoom for sure in this game. GPK on the Ember against Quinn's Void Spirit here, doing very well. Got the gank from save and is taking advantage of the head start he's been given here. Just constantly pressuring Quinn. This is I would say on paper, a pretty even matchup in general, but when one hero pulls ahead, it can very much snowball.
Yep,
Wait, Ace is in big trouble now, though.
Indeed, 3 members here to try to take off his head. Ace will get blast offed, and then Boundless struck into the ground.
Blast off.
Blast offed. That works. So BetBoom with a very early 1K net worth lead, and this mid lane is a big part of it. You can see Quinn kind of middle of the pack in terms of net worth.
It's about the entire lead, actually.
Yeah, and GPK doing
800 there.
Just dandy on the Ember Spirit, as this triangle taken over for the time being by BetBoom, which forces Tofu out.
And despite the rough theoretical matchup Pure has bottom, he's still doing pretty well. Sitting on 3.2k on the field.
Trying to go for Ace again. This would be really big considering there's a big wave here. TP coming though from Quinn. You see, most of BetBoom are here. Ember Spirit really wants this kill. Trying to focus on the Brood. First, they're going to lose their techies, though, as here comes the Wukong's command. Ace getting extremely low inside this Wukong's, will be resigned to his death, but how much is it going to cost them? Dyrachyo made his way over here as well, as Nightfall just barely dies.
GPK has no outs right now.
Yeah, Bushwhack keeps him in place, gets off one more Sleight of Fist. Adaptive Strike not doing a whole lot of damage. Kinetic Field is going to keep him at bay. Sleight of Fist is there again. Double kill for GPK. Will he actually live? Tofu goes down to the right click of Toronto Tokyo. GPK holds the wave, or the Dyrachyo Morphling in place, and now the blast off to follow, and GPK ends up with the triple.
God.
Unreal play from BetBoom.
As Lacoste would say, what an e-gamer. That was incredible from GPK.
And now
Just
you gotta,
so clean.
You have to bask in the glory of these kills with the pause, of course.
Mike, he got so excited he literally ate his microphone right there.
Understandable.
Ah, man, that was super clean. Very, very well done mechanically there. Just playing on the edge. We're going to get a replay of this one, of course. Let's just enjoy it in its entire glory since we have a pause anyway. So Quinn gets glimpsed immediately, gets the snipe here on save, but obviously cannot reconnect with the fight at this point. And this honestly looks like it's going to be pretty good for the side of Gaming Gladiators. These heroes are stuck in no man's land. They get the monkey kill, and as we said, GPK out of escapes here. He has no remnants, and he has level 1 Flame Guard, which, by the way, becomes integral here. He's going to use that here, and just blocking that little bit of damage might have actually made it did. He was on 30 health.
For sure.
Fun fact about the situation, if he had -1 armor, he would have died and not got a triple kill.
Man, right on
point. Case in point right there. Imagine Ember with 1 less armor. Gaming Gladiators would have won the fight.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Clean stuff from the man on your screens right there.
We're going to have another fight, exact same area. This is not a replay. Ace surrounded and killed again. So BetBoom just sticking around to make sure they can stick it to that spider.
Damn. This is becoming a pretty significant advantage right now. Gaming Gladiators lineup, in essence, doesn't have too much in the way of setting up fights. You have the Void Spirit who can jump in and you can hit a little bit of a Bushwhack perhaps, but BetBoom's lineup has so many ways of initiating fights. Monkey King stun, blast off, slide chains, and then you have Glimpse. So if they start getting ahead and they just start hunting you around the map and you can't match in fights, things are very quickly going to get hairy for Gaimin. So got to start making their own successful moves sometime soon. Quinn here rocking the haste rune. He could just get doomed at any point, but
he could. No one is near either of them.
No one's here. He has some information to go by here. Obviously, the fight that just happened top with the kill they found onto the Brood was with many members of BetBoom.
Yeah,
so
and Doom, it dispels the haste as well. So
exactly. So really there was no guarantee there of just being able to get away, but he knew enough that he could squeeze a little bit of an advantage out of that. GPK now back in mid. So closing in on what is going to probably be a 12-minute Maelstrom. Oh, they have Static Storm. Ooh.
They do. He does not use it. Aether Remnant bringing GPK back. Bushwhack not going to hit. But you can just see the net worth difference. 1,500 between the two mid laners. So GPK having himself a game and Quinn not so much. I mean, hard to say how much of this has to do with the nerfs to Void Spirit. Is Pure going to get initiated on. Dyrachyo turns into Doom to get that scorched earth off. And Pure will eventually fall to Ace's right click.
Funny situation with the Hurricanes there. The Hurricane in back. He Hurricanes himself forward. It's like it never happened.
That's right.
But yeah, make sure you get the Hurricane back first while you're in range. So well done there from
It's one of the best neutral changes, I think, is that Hurricane. Making it at least a little bit more interesting for Doom as opposed to the one, like you get the Chain Lightning early and then Stomp later. We're still seeing that a lot, but the Hurricane has been used a lot mid-game.
I think Hurricane is my favorite new neutral ability.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes
I like Keith the Bold's Punch, but it's just not viable in any way. So
no.
One day we'll get there. Micro buffs.
And my least favorite one has to be the Chain Lightning. It's just too good, man.
Yeah.
It's just too good.
Yeah.
It's like it's taken the place of that insane early game slot on Devour or on Chen or Ench that Ice Armor used to have on the Ogre, right? That when that was like 8 armor or something crazy.
Oh, they actually initiate in the mid lane. We can see Nightfall using the Wukong's command in the meantime for top. Quinn dies to that gank in the mid lane.
Oh, and Tofu wanted to try to snag the rune.
Another death for him as Tofu gonna get Hurricane. Not the greatest synergy there from BetBoom, but it matters not. As 2 members of Gaimin drop dead. BetBoom really coming out of this laning stage on top.
Kicking it up to 11 for sure. They're just going to keep running at them. I'll tell you, GPK is feeling on top of the world right now, but this is where it can get a little bit dangerous with this player historically, right? We've talked about this on previous casts. Yeah, Ace is not going to be long for this world here. He'll try his best, but will end up dying to save of all heroes there. I don't know how that happened.
No way they can get Quinn.
Oh, okay, missing the chains there. So GPK has games like this once in a while where he absolutely just annihilates and pops off.
And then what does he do later?
And then sometimes he just goes too far. Like, he just overextends and gets a little bit too crazy. If he tames the beast in this game and just plays, doesn't cross that limit, this is the kind of game where he can just end the game like 15-0.
I'm going to say something that might be somewhat controversial. If he didn't have this tilt factor, right, where he dies once later, even if he was to feed or whatever, that one death, if he didn't tilt after and continue to feed, I think he'd be arguably the best mid in the entire world, hands down. This guy is insanely good, but I think he just tilts like none other. So mostly mental issues, which we'll see if they've worked on that as Nightfall. I mean, life coaches would be... They are in demand these days as Nightfall is going to find an Undying inside this Static Storm. Looks to be a freebie for BetBoom, and now Tofu glimpses back into the arms of the rest of BetBoom. So 2 for nada and a 5K lead now.
It's really hard to be a Gaming Gladiators player in this game. I don't know who of them is having a good game except Dota2, but he's Morph. So he can't really participate much right now. He just has to keep farming up and looking for some sort of opportunity later. But who's he going to be playing with? Quinn is not even close to an Echo Saber 14 minutes in here. And as we talked about with Ace, that laning stage has not gone the way he wanted. It looks like he's going Echo as well. So both of them will be going that right-click build. And that also in turn means that BetBoom can perhaps itemize quite effectively here. If they itemize against both of these heroes at the same time, maybe some armor items, maybe some sort of evasion. Could be very impactful in their lineup.
Crimson is almost done on Pure.
Yeah, and you could look at a Halberd as well. I think one of the best items. Whenever Brood goes combat build, this is the problem that the hero has had historically as a carry, is getting disarmed feels really bad because you need to take advantage of insatiable hunger. You need to get those attacks in while you have the damage running. So if you're getting continuously disarmed or just kited, then afterwards you're just not really offering that much compared to other heroes with the same net worth. So we'll see if that does come out eventually for them. At the same time on Doom, you could also just go Shiva's Guard. I think this is a good game for it too.
Yep. Smoke gank from BetBoom.
Probably
will result in the death
here
of Celery. Maybe not the highest value kill, but they'll take it. Continuing to get those charges on that urn. Actually, you already upgraded to Spirit Vessel. That's pretty fast.
Wonder what mutant is in GPK's name.
That's a good question.
Or just their names in general. We've got Save with Vorpal Swords. Toronto, Tokyo with Angry Weeb emoji.
Very interesting sponsors.
I don't know where that's coming from. Well, mid tower looks to be gone here. They're thinking about Duracho. They have TP'd down the Disruptor, but not going to commit for it just yet. But still more and more advantage being built by BetBoom with that tower claimed. Actually, their first tower of the game, 16 minutes in. A little bit surprising considering how well things have gone, but look at those building damages. 22 from the Brood. Nobody else from Gaming Gladiators have even looked at a tower yet.
Yeah.
They've been under pressure, to say the least, and it will remain that way. Tofu will get blasted off.
BetBoom's starting to run away with this thing.
Yeah.
And Gaiman going to have to find their footing here pretty soon. They're going to have to go up against that Crimson Guard that is now officially picked up.
How the hell are they going to fight into Crimson?
Glimpse. Celery dead again. And these are very... Like, you don't need many resources to get these kills. They're able to do it from so far away.
That's the beauty of this. I love BetBoom's draft this game. I actually think if this kind of draft gets out of lanes well in this meta, I think I find it hard to craft lineups that do well against a strategy of this kind. Like, once you have a little bit of an advantage with this support duo of Techie's Disruptor, they can play with any core on BetBoom's team and they can just kill all over the map. Like, nowhere is safe. If you have information, a lot of the time in certain strategies, you see 1 or 2 heroes farming on the enemy team. You're like, okay, we can go here. You can get killed by any 2. Disruptor Techies can kill a core as well. Like, there's any combination of BetBoom heroes.
Nice start up the Static Storm, Spirit Vessel as well, and Duracho knows that he is dead.
Yeah, case in point right there.
Continuing to just kind of stick around and giving this false sense of security for Gaiman. They've gotten several kills as a result of this on very high-value targets.
At the same time, though, you can't really blame Duracho too much here because he has to keep farming. He has to take risky farm. If he starts playing too passively, then he's already succumbing to a loss. Like, you You need to make those risky moves and hope it works out in your favor. Oh, game in.
Yeah, BetBoom connecting now. Astral Step onto save, but Quinn inside the kinetic field right now, focusing on the Disruptor. Toronto Toku getting quite low. Finally will drop, as the Techies will be next, though. 2 kills for Gaming Gladiators. Nice heal coming out from the Undying, but it dies shortly after, along with Ace.
Doracho tickling Pure here.
So all the supports have died. One Brood as well, as Tofu will be the last support to eventually drop here. Pavis keeping him alive a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It actually looked really bad for Gaming, and they did lose the fight, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been.
Yeah, Quinn took advantage of the fact that Static Storm was on cooldown there. It meant he could finally initiate the way he wanted to, but still not quite enough.
Nightfall, Hurricane gonna keep him in place. Boundless Strike was stolen by Doracio, turns into that Monkey King. But he's completely disarmed
And
thanks to the
vesseled.
Techies. Spirit Vessel as well. Waveform attempting to get out of dodge.
Oh, Glimpse is coming.
Yep, they do find that's a long-ass glimpse, and
Holy.
he dies. Oh my god. Was that to the glimpse itself as
Yeah,
Quinn?
that was a lot of damage.
Astral stepping to the other side of the trees, but he's going to be found to simulate. They still find him anyway. Nowhere you can go from this BetBoom squad, up 12K. Jeez, they're looking good.
They are. The panel was talking about, you know, BetBoom picking a lot of the same heroes that some of them got nerfed, were meta in the previous patch. You can't really tell there's been a patch in this game. I guess actually you can. Void Spirit isn't killing everyone, so there has been a patch. But
True.
Everyone else is doing great. That was good last patch. Yeah. Quite the makings of a beatdown here. Gaming Gladiators again. I feel like you kind of have to try to set up some sort of fight where you get to play a long tombstone engagement or something.
Ace wanted to find some farm. Instead, he's going to die because literally all of BetBoom are there. Well, almost literally. Monkey King missing.
I really like GPK going Kaya Sanj this game, by the way. I think it's a great choice. Keep riding that momentum.
Is this the glimpse kill?
It's coming up. I want to see how much damage it did. Let's see if Morph was still targeted at that time by the Observer.
Well, you can see at the top bar, right?
Yeah. It's a bit hard to gauge how much health that is when he...
Okay, he got sleight of fisted,
Right.
and then, yeah, okay. As BetBoom still quite relentless, getting control of the triangle now, and I think Celery, well, actually, Static Storm use. That's a little surprising.
I guess they didn't want any sort of counterplay with Tombstone there.
They're going to continue to fight, though. Crimson Guard is popped, which means Gaming Gladiators don't do any damage. A nice bushwhack onto 3, but not a whole lot of follow-up, as Doracio now, still Spirit Vessel, trying to right-click his way through as the Doom finally goes off, and it looks like that's going to be the result of Quinn dying. Pure, he's targeted right now, but Nightfall gets off the double Boundless Strike with the Wukong's command to follow, and BetBoom, they do lose their 2 supports, but they're getting basically everything else that they wanted. They didn't get the Morphling, who did just barely step out.
GPK now.
They're getting the better of these trades.
0 and 14 on Ember.
Yep, he's having, I mean, he's worth a lot then, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately for Gaiman, they don't really have the best heroes to kill him with. But if they do, boy.
Wonder how many spiders have been killed.
Oh, here come the pets.
It is, well, they're not technically pets, so. 500 gold worth.
All right.
And only 14 by Ember. I mean, obviously weren't laning against each other, but...
Heck, he's killed 14, huh? It
Those
ran into some mines, yeah.
Those are hard to dodge.
Brood historically is actually an extremely good hero against techies for that reason, because you could scan out mines and just send some scouts instead of actual heroes to clear the minefield. So yeah, still the case here, obviously, cleaning out some mines, but looking at some very thin silver linings right now for Gaiman.
Yep, with that 16K deficit right
Holy
now.
shit, that's a lot of damage.
Highest amount of hero damage at 21 minutes on any hero this event. 25K at 21 minutes.
It is
That is absurd.
dirty. Look at that. He has about the same as the next 2 combined.
Yeah.
Which are, by the way, also on his team. Yeah,
Nobody's quite cracked 10K yet on Gaiman.
Completely standout game from GPK. Can't really put a finger on anything so far, and at this point, the only thing that can beat them is the admin Snith asking them for a reason for the pause. This is a very broad reason. Headset. Which could mean a lot of things. Maybe his headset got unplugged. Maybe it broke. Maybe he wants another one. Maybe he forgot to put on his cat ears.
Those have been pretty popular in the
they
Chinese
have.
scene, haven't they?
Like, oh, I'm doing too well this game. Let me put on the cat ears.
Nah, that doesn't sound like a pro player. They don't give a shit about content generally. Well,
They do.
slowly,
They
that
do
is true.
care a lot about superstition, though.
Yeah, that's true for any competitive
They need.
player.
Never forget Matu's good luck shorts.
Yep.
That's the ultimate superstition we've ever had in Dota, I think.
Well, ice, ice, ice.
Ice is superstitious, no shorts.
That's right.
Yes.
I think that predates
Yeah.
Matu by a bit.
Tofu is dead.
Yep, he is spotted. Quinn trying to save his life, but that's too tall of an ask. He gets the sharpshooter off, but
This might
Won't
not
do
be over
much.
yet. Okay. Just
It is.
barely gets off the...
it is over.
If he didn't go for the jump there, he would have get slight chains into glimpsed, I think. So Quinn had to get off that. Or that would have been scary. Duraccio now picking up the BKB will, potentially be able to look for some sort of fight. But again, how do you find the conditions to actually get the damage in? You have to somehow get a tombstone. You have to somehow get a fat bushwhack like we saw earlier. But if the Crimson Guard is active, the Spiderlings aren't doing anything. Brood herself is barely doing anything. So it's Morph and Void Spirit kind of against the world. Undying is also not doing anything to Crimson. His zombies will be negligible.
Well, he's not doing anything in general.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he is undying after the 10-minute mark.
That used to be the case, but this hero has got a lot better.
I know. Well, he's also down 16k, so
Yeah.
he's not going to be doing it. He's a tombstone. He could be a grab ally if he wants to be.
True.
You know.
But he will never get 1,400 gold.
Well, there is. Wait, who got the shard?
Did they kill the Tormentor?
Yeah, it looks like Hoodwink got it.
Oh, they did.
So that's the old Ags, which is the boomerang.
It's one of the... It's a really good shard. Extra damage, more amp, and a lot of the time you're in range for it anyway when you're casting your other spells, so it just gives you more playmaking potential.
Yeah, you just use it while you're ulting as well,
Yep.
potentially. I hope that we get to see more core Hoodwink. I think it's such a fun thing to watch, and I hope Ags is a thing because that thing's really fun to watch as well. Getting that illusion that casts sharpshooter.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem about that axe is kind of the issue that you have with Troll ult, right? You're not in control of it. So...
Well, yeah, but you can use it as mind games, right? Because it's in the fog, it makes the sound. Like,
Yeah.
I think the whole idea behind... I mean, I'm not saying it's viable at all. I'm saying it's a cool idea, and I hope it will become viable at some point. And this is a good choice from Gaimin.
This. Hail Mary.
They need to force something. It will be Roche.
Hunter's Boomerang really good here. Yeah, so the thing about the Hoodwink Ags in concept is, if you're playing core Hoodwink, are you going to spend 4,200 gold on maybe hitting a second sharpshooter, or are you going to get a stat item? Right? That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. Because I like the Ags too. I think it's fun. I think it's great to get it from Roche, or maybe even buy it on support in some cases. But on core, I don't know. I think you'd rather get some damage.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
If you could control the decoy,
Too much micro. Then it's not fun anymore. Nobody wants the micro.
it would be a lot better if you could
It
control
would.
it, though.
It would. Well, BetBoom wanted to try to fight even after the Aegis was taken, but they're not going to find one. So
This is like
Quinn
the-
has the Aegis.
Pretty much the first positive thing that's happened from Gaimin since 5 minutes in, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think they've lost every single engagement, and now they got a Roche. A lot of red dots there at the bottom of the gold graph.
Yeah, it doesn't tell all the story because a lot of those red dots, well, they're not created equal, let's say,
Yeah.
between the green dots, right? There's mostly cores dying on the side of Gaming Gladiators.
Slide on slide action. Nobody gets hit.
Yep, GPK facing off against his comrade Duraccio as the Ember.
Slide on slide action again. One of them hit. The other one, not so much.
And, I mean, when you're playing Brood, anytime you're behind at this point, you're going to be trying to split push, and that's kind of Brood's MO.
Yeah, not
And
easy to do
BetBoom.
against Disruptor, though. You have to be
Indeed.
very careful.
Well, he does have...
So if he gets spotted here. Finds his way into the jungle. He might be okay if he...
he
plays
could
it
Manta
here.
dodge the Glimpse. Very difficult, though.
Not as hard as it used to be. Or, well, it is as hard as it used to be. Players just got better.
Celery's dead again.
That's a given. Most ironic hero name in Dota.
What, Undying?
Yeah, the hero has one of the highest average deaths of all heroes in Dota, I would guess.
Well, that's the point, though.
Yeah, so
right?
he is undying because he keeps resurrecting, unlike every other hero that doesn't resurrect.
That's right. Those don't make sense. Undying actually fits the lore.
You're
Celery, on the other hand, that makes no sense.
Oh.
That doesn't fit anything. Although their announcement, this past roster shuffle, aka before or right after TI, that was really good. Dyrachyo
nice,
is gonna get doomed and brought down. He does not have buyback, and we'll see what BetBoom want to do, because typically this is when you have the Aegis, you want to go high ground with it. They have such an advantage, though. Maybe the Scotty is what they're waiting for from Nightfall. I mean, that is relatively close, only 200 gold away.
Yeah, nice value item to have here. Obviously, you get way tankier. You also get the healing reduction against Brood, Morph,
and I think
Undying.
Yeah, Shiva's just delivered to GPK as well, so that's a pretty big power spike overall.
I mean, this is an insane spike. I think you just go straight for this. If you're going to either force a Morph buyback or you're going to get a lane of Barracks, there is no way in hell Gaimin can fight you. They're going to expend the Glyph to keep their wave alive as well. This is very telegraphed to be a full commitment here. Save going to drop some mines to speed up the push. And yeah, Gaimin know. They know this is destined to fall. They're not even going to try. They're actually,
well, if they're going to have to if they don't want to lose Celery for the 20th time.
They have to abide the lore. So.
That's true. He will be back eventually. 30 seconds to be Undying again. Nightfall focusing on the melee racks as it is fortified. Quinn and company, they want to defend. Pure jumps right in. Dyrachyo has to waveform away. This will give enough space for BetBoom to be able to securely take out at least the melee racks, if not more.
Pure did activate the Crimson there, so at least they don't have that for the fight now.
But here comes the Shiva Static Storm. It's only on the Hoodwink, so that's going to be an easy cleanup for BetBoom. But you can see, I mean, Gaimin just have nothing to deal with this. So BetBoom will get the full set of racks, and I don't see... Well, okay, I do see what would be stopping. That's 2 tier 2 towers, so it's going to have to reset.
I genuinely think... I mean, I'm not saying BetBoom should do this, because I think it's just a better approach to play it safer. I think they could have forced a fight on the tier 4s and even win that. I think they're that far ahead. But obviously they don't necessarily know. They know they're far ahead, no doubt about it, but they might not know the exact power level that they're under right now. But
Quinn.
Yeah. Looking for a Boundless.
They don't have Static Storm to combo this with. They
no Doom
do not have Doom either. Pretty crucial. And normally at this point of the game, you're like, okay, maybe you should get some Lincolns to avoid the glimpses, to avoid the Doom, but you just don't have enough gold. You got to go for the riskier items, I feel like. If you're going for survival, it's usually not going to work out.
Yeah, they have to buy damage, because otherwise the heroes of BetBoom are just too tanky, so you have to go all in. I'd like to see Quinn just queuing up a Deso, because I think at this point, like, if you're not going to buy the most cost-efficient damage per gold item for your team right now, you're not piercing through anything. You have to give yourself the possibility. He's queuing up the Nullifier. It's also a good idea, obviously.
Aegis has expired, so now Quinn no longer has that second life. They don't have a fortification either, and BetBoom definitely know this. But maybe they just want to push in the top lane to be able to secure the tier 2 top so they can just go for the full megas.
Yeah. Ags completed for Dyrachyo. Probably going to turn into the Monkey King, I would imagine, if he can. Getting that stun, stealing the stats is very nice, but also turning into Ember, not too bad, right? Although Ember doesn't care very much about losing the attack speed. Monkey King is way more crippled by that.
Yeah.
But I think there's perhaps more merit to turning into Ember just flat out for the raw damage increase. Like, you need to... You can, like, cycle between yourself and the Ember form to dodge things. You can get more damage out with the slights. And you get a free Flame Guard, of course, which is always nice, but...
Okay, and
it's
potentially a last-ditch effort in this game number 1. This is a best of 3, so second group stage, Nightfall. He's initiated on. Bushwhack is there, and he's actually blown up. 70 seconds of no Monkey King.
They were not ready.
Absolutely not. The burst damage was way too high.
Gaming Gladiators caught Bay slipping.
Good one.
Yep.
Toronto Tokyo now on the run. Can Gaimin find anything else? He's mine.
Actually the worst when you just say good one.
Good one, bro. Oh, the Static Storm. He pops the BKB. Dyrachyo turns into Monkey King. Well, he's been Monkey King for a bit, I suppose.
Good one.
Was tree dancing. Yep, good one. Thank you.
All right. Nice to see Morph hanging out and enjoying the view here.
Do they actually want to fight?
He lost his forms. Now he can only get down with waveform.
That's right. That is very true. Good one, Cinderin. GPK. Yep. He's bushwhacked. Now he waveforms in. Is this enough damage? They dust at the last moment and they find him. So GPK dies for the first time in the game after 12 uncontested kills. Toronto Tokyo gets the glimpse off. The glimmer as well. Now goes south. Looks like he's going to live as a result. So Gaiman, they get 2 very big kills. How much more can they get out of this?
It's not over till it's over. It's the start. They got 5k gold out of that. Pretty big. And BetBoom needs to be careful to not... That's what makes Gaiman such a world-class team. Like, the conditions that they have in this game are pretty terrible, but they get one moment of opportunity, they make the most of it. And that was, that was obviously with the Monkey King of Nightfall. I wouldn't necessarily say he was out of position. The team was just not in formation in general. So either the team was out of position or he was. But him being there is not necessarily a problem as long as the coverage is there, but it wasn't. So, yeah, we see the nice BKB there from Duracho. Without that, he's going to get blasted off and just blown up. So. Celery, the cartographer, is out exploring here.
Glimmer of hope for Gaiman. Oh, he finds a nice juicy Lotus pool. Oh yeah, that's some tasty stuff right there.
You could tell they were definitely secondary. He went here toward and he was like, oh right, these are in the game. Like the pros are not putting so much emphasis on Lotus pools. Grabs 4 of them there. I think that was.
He has a full greater healing Lotus.
Yeah.
So 2 more of those and you can make a block of cheese.
Oh, very good.
Which is only okay. Sometimes you just rather have the Lotus.
Yeah.
That's the hilarious part. But if you made it stronger, it actually could be too OP. I don't know. It's a weird one.
I would rather, we talked about this before, I would rather have it be as good as it is now, but then be easier to obtain if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then maybe it's too good.
Then everybody has one.
Yeah, it's awkward.
Then you can buy cheese in the shop, you know, like the old days you could buy Aegis with 3 charges for some reason.
Dota is kind of a weird world when you think about it. You can buy all sorts of advanced weaponry and magic technology, but you can't buy cheese. The only person in the world that has monopoly on agriculture is Roshan.
Yeah, he ferments it himself.
Yeah, he's literally the only one who has learned the techniques.
All right, another smoke from Gaiman. They got all their spells back up. Brood is showing, along with the boomerang from Tofu. And we can see Roche is going to be up in 15 seconds. That's why we're posturing in this bottom area from both sides. Bit of a stalemate now, neither of which know exactly where the other is, but they do spot the courier going south from the Monkey King. And Nightfall gets his Hyperstone.
This is Gaiman's chance at a full-on comeback if they get a good fight here. They do have the outpost advantage.
Yeah, there's the Astral Step opening. BKB immediately popped by Nightfall. He's the Counter Strike on the 3 heroes with the War Stomp to follow. Wukong's command comes after. And just like that, Celery dead for the 50th time this game. Tofu's going to be next. And the Wukong's command forces everybody from BetBoom out of the area. As you can see, Morphling taking a ton of damage. That's going to be the death of Duracho. Quinn now taking heavy damage as well, but he kind of has to fight, it feels like. Trying to take out Pure, but he's going to live for the time being, but finally gets taken out by a support who bought back previously from Gaming Gladiators. Save aggro's Roche just to be able to take part in this fight. Does not want to keep him in his hole any longer. Celery, this looks to be a dieback from him.
Oh, nice.
Ace gets the double kill. Actually trying to turn his sights onto GPK. He gets hoodwinked. Oh my god, the triple kill from Ace. They actually find him in the end. And now Toronto Tokyo on the run. He's going to get harpooned back. Uses the Ogre Steel Totem along with the Kinetic Field and the Glitch, but it's not going to be enough. As Ace with an Ultra Kill, and now Gaming Gladiators can potentially take Roshan number 2.
Well, they have to cross the map.
They do. Roshan.
In the middle of all that, Roshan had enough of their shit and went top, but yeah, that's...
Required 3 buybacks.
It looked terrible from Gaiman, but they're Radiant and Roshu's bot. That's the breakdown of that. They do not have a chance in this fight without buying back and TPing in like they did, but I don't know. So if we're going to see the full... First of all, insane Boundless there coming out from Nightfall, but when this fight develops, when Nightfall TP'd out later, I feel like he just completely sells GPK as well as Toronto Tokyo in the extended fight. I don't think he necessarily had to dip there. So you're going to see it soon in this if we... Yep, you're not. We're going to fight Roche.
Yeah, well,
Roche
Aegis
is
and
dead.
Cheese secure for Game and Gladiators, but they're going to have to fight their way through BetBoom. Ace already pops the Cheese back to full HP before that Spirit Vessel was applied. He's going to pop the BKB and now turn his sights onto the rest of BetBoom. Wukong's command finally comes out from Nightfall, forces Ace out. Quinn as well is going to get Infernal Bladed and gets the last Astral Step before going down himself. He will be resurrected, though. So Aegis and Cheese both used.
But again, for Gaimin, this means BetBoom didn't get it. So
Yeah.
second Roche going their way in a game where they've been utterly dominated. They're starting to make a bit of a comeback here. They're definitely not in the clear yet, but making it very, very interesting. I thought this game would have ended by now.
Oh, yeah.
After the first lane of Barracks fell, it felt like just a formality for BetBoom to group up and get it done, but they got caught in one moment top on the Monkey King, and Gaimin have made the most of it. Ace is starting to look intimidating now on this Brood. He's ramping up a lot of items. Now Lincoln's completed as well.
Yeah, Ace is having, after a horrific start, like truly horrific, he has looked really good from the mid-game onward. He was the glimmer of hope for Gaimin, who still have to deal with these creeps in their base. But they don't have to deal with BetBoom going for the Roche. That's another 6.5 minutes before we even know when he will spawn. And Dyrachyo, he's getting close to finishing Lincoln's for himself as well. So they're going to have the Doom counters until he gets Ags, of course. But then you can play around it because of positioning and whatnot, as we're seeing the tier 4 items now drop.
And I don't know if Pure is going to buy Ags here, or if he's going to prioritize something else. It feels like Hex would be really, really valuable for BetBoom to have. And he's the only hero who's going to buy it. So it's probably on his mind here. Do I buy Scythe, or do I get Refresher? Do I get Ags? Still, they don't have a Halberd, right? Like, that's also still a really good item, I feel like, in this game that they never itemized for. Could even buy it on techies, to be honest. Would love to see them pick one of those up.
No.
He is aiming for the Hex, though. So it will be him with a Scythe, and then, yeah, I mean, Doom with Halberd doesn't sound too bad here. Get that disarm, get that health, and stats-resistant evasion for yourself against these heroes hitting so hard. Pretty good. Nobody's got MKB on Gaimin, so it's very, very valuable for EHP. Right, so far, not queuing up anything.
They're too worried about this next potential fight here. Only a 10k lead now for BetBoom.
Oh, if they get vision here, they're in a really, really good position, BetBoom, if they somehow get in behind them.
Yep, Quinn. Still smoked. It will now dissipate along with the rest of BetBoom's smokes.
Yeah, how many Ninja Gears do we have in play here? Is it just the one? Just the... Okay, one per side, so GPK rocking one as well.
Does Sleight of Fist not break smoke?
It should.
I could have sworn I saw that it didn't there, but yeah. 'Cause I know Swashbuckle definitely does. And it's basically the same mechanic.
Yeah.
Speedy rune of haste.
Now the solo smoke again from Quinn because of the Ninja Gear. And he will pop. Little does he know, it is just the techies, along with Toronto Tokyo. Nullifier is going to keep save in place. They're going to be able to get that kill. Sharpshooter actually does connect, but it'll be a bit tough to catch up to. So they'll be happy with just the one pick-off. And Nullifier takes off Flame Guard. It takes off Crimson Guard. Anything else I'm missing? I guess we've talked about the Jingu in the past.
Glimmers.
Yep, true.
Now there's one completed for GPK as well on the Ember. So he has his own options. Slower than patch average, to be sure, but that is mainly because he's bought items in the order that he has, not because he's having a bad game. He just got multiple other build-up items. His inventory is completely qualified for 40 minutes.
Look at Pure's... He has a Seed Shot skill. What?
He just wants to break Lincolns, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense. Okay. Like, in what world do you want that?
Might put it to use.
He's going to... Okay, good timing.
Oh, the glimpse
back
too.
into the Static Storm. Nullifier on top of Quinn as well as he is surrounded and brought down. 100 seconds, no buyback. Of course, BetBoom do not know this.
They do if they noted it, because it's on cooldown.
Is it the cooldown?
It's on cooldown for 1:40. So exactly when he respawns, he'll have buyback.
Handy.
If BetBoom have identified this, they could end the game here. I think this 5v4 is too difficult, despite Doom being on cooldown. Gaming Gladiators really rely on Quinn to assassinate the supports. Would love to see BetBoom try to squeeze an advantage out of this, but looking a bit timid. Not really
they are
posing too much aggression just now. Still farming some jungle with the Monkey King and gonna even TP top and defend. So looks like they don't know the timing.
I mean, we've seen, and we talked about GPK specifically, but this team has thrown leads away in the past.
There's definitely some PTSD kicking in from that.
I think that does take a toll on any team, and then you overcorrect to a degree, and I think that's
100%
potentially what we're seeing here.
It's so easy to sit and watch the game and be like, just end lol. It's so much harder to make the judgment and have the overview, as we have access to so much information that they don't all the time. So it's not like this is a complete facepalm not to push. I get it, but definitely. So let's put it this way. Let's say they know Quinn doesn't have buyback here. Then I would say, okay, like, how nervous are you really? Do you have any business being? But they theoretically should know, but there's a lot happening in these chaotic fights, and there's a good chance they didn't catch the timer on it.
I feel like keeping track of timers is pretty difficult.
It's very hard.
Like Roshan is one thing. I think a lot of players do that, but buybacks, I think it's kind of iffy.
I mean, especially when the buyback situations happen in a chaotic team fight around Roche that's like a 10v5, right? Like, do you really know when exactly things happen? And
well, I can tell you from a second place TI perspective, a lot of teams don't keep track of any timers.
It was a different time.
It was. People have gotten better since then.
That was actually the reason Wings won. They kept track of timers. No other.
Yeah, we had no idea Roche was up. You know, Jesus. Well, that and picking
didn't even
Slark
know the
mid.
game had a clock. Oh, there's a rune. Cool.
I think it was more picking Slark.
Wonder
mid.
when the runes spawn.
That's never a thing.
No. Well,
smoking out from
they
both
did let you
respective
win a
teams.
game by picking tiny techies. So
that's true.
Oh, Pudge techies.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
And then we picked Jakiro mid, and then Slark mid, and oh, Lord help us, Gaben. Neither of these smokes will materialize into a fight, at least not initially. Maybe we'll see some warding expeditions. Roche could theoretically be up in 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And is it
Power rune time?
nighttime in 1 minute?
Is this a good power? Oh, it's exactly what I was thinking. If they find a DD here, this could be go time.
Yeah, that's a juicy one.
Giving bottle to Nightfall. He also has the Monkey King has pretty solid range when he finds this neutral. The Penta-Edged Sword, what's his attack range
He's
now?
a literal ranged hero now, right?
He has 300 plus the...
It's 400, right?
He hits for 400. Look at that attack range.
Is that Vengeful Spirit? Is that about right?
Pretty much.
Well, forcing Gaming Gladiators back to their base. They get the tier 3 uncontested. Fortification still available for Gaming. We can see that Roche is going to be up in 40 seconds.
Why did you have to say Venge? No, Miss Venge. It's such an iconic Dota hero, but she has just not been popular for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think they just couldn't make up their mind if they want to be support or core.
Yeah, then pick one.
I agree. I agree. Make it core, of course. It's more fun.
You want everyone to be a core.
Yeah.
Imagine if Dota didn't have supporting.
That would be great. Heroes of the Storm. That game lasted a while. Yeah. Okay, Roche is going to be spawning, and it will be up top. And both sides know this. Now, who has better scouting?
This is a great time to pick up a Daedalus on Morph. He can come up big if he finds an angle now. Yeah. He has the ability to stand and deliver and actually kill Monkey King.
Man, what a stalemate this is. This is hilarious.
Techies is insane for situations like this, though. I would definitely say advantage BetBoom just from positioning. And keep throwing out sticky bombs and keep placing mines for information. And
Ace can go in and out of the pit, as he has been doing, to check if Roche is up. They can use the illusions, of course, as well to get rid of some of those mines. Roche, so Gaiman knows 100% this is up right now.
Yeah.
There's the double damage on Nightfall.
Oh, Celery's going to... Okay.
Oh, Quinn actually jumps in, trying to delete somebody right off the bat. They're going to be able to get Toronto Toki. Does have buyback 50 seconds. Pure actually uses the Ag's Doom on himself very early, jumps right in, now trying to focus on that Morphling, but can't catch up. Instead, we'll have to go for the Broodmother. Still a pretty damn big kill, and they find it. That's an instant buyback from Ace now as the Wukong's command forcing everybody from Gaimin outside of the outskirts there. Now the waveform back in. Is that a static storm? That's just a kinetic field, it looks like. As Dyrachyo, he's going to be nullified for the time being. At half HP now, kind of getting kited to a high degree as GPK looking, trying to finish him off. Boundless Strike coming in from behind. Dyrachyo inside the tree line. Will get harpooned back. The huge hoodwink stun again comes out. Lots of damage being applied as Nightfall barely gets out. No, 124 seconds of no Monkey King. That bushwhack was absurd.
Oh my god, the base is burning.
That's
like
true.
100 red dots on the minimap.
That's a lot of creeps.
Dyrachyo bought back to defend base.
He has to, and now Save trying to prevent this Roche from coming out, but it's not even remotely close of going down, so he's going to basically suicide. And now Quinn, he's completely surrounded. Able to astral step to the high ground, though. I'm not sure if GPK has enough remnants to follow suit as Ace now, he's extremely low as well. This Roshan number 3.
Oh, they didn't.
Very hotly contested. Celery gets off a soul rip there. Pure actually initiated on by the Brood, but now GPK looks like they will be able to finish off that pesky spider. 120 seconds of no Brood now.
Yeah, hope they timed the buyback.
Pure is spotted by the Acorn shot. He pops his BKB, but he's now surrounded and taken out as well. 2 minutes of no Doom. And now Gaimin Gladiators should be able to secure the 3rd Roche. They've gotten all 3.
How the hell did this game get close? It's so unreal. How do they do it?
So Refresher Shard, Aegis, and Cheese.
They're 2 lanes down and a tier 4, and almost 2 tier 4s, and still, it feels like this is a 50-50 at this point. Like, when you see how the fights play out, it's so crucial. We were talking about this Dyrachyo getting the Daedalus right before that fight. He just bodied Nightfall as soon as the Monkey King ult was over. It's not what we're seeing in this replay. Obviously, this is an insane bushwhack coming out from Tofu there with his last bit of mana. Highest possible impact play he could have found there. And some polarizing reactions there.
Pretty hype.
There goes the first lane.
Indeed.
Will they actually... All right, will Gaimin Gladiators go for more, though? It's going to be a 4v4. They have Aegis.
Linken's is pop, no Doom. So this is 4v4. Tombstone placed ahead of time. Dyrachyo still with the Aegis, obviously. Leipnir going to hold him in place. There comes a stun from Save. Well, they're actually going to try to fight this as Nightfall goes right in with a huge Wukong's command. Tofu's deleted. Celery trying to get the hell out, but GPK is going to follow him with that nullifier. Meanwhile, Dyrachyo turning into Monkey King, uses the Refresher Shard, trying to take out this Monkey, but he just dies instead. He basically suicides himself. So that's 4 heroes dead for Gaimin, and nobody for BetBoom. What a hold.
I mean, honestly, this game is turning out exactly how everyone expected, right? Like, 20 minutes in, I knew this was coming when I was like, BetBoom's definitely going to win this game. And this was how I imagined it. Morph using Refresher, waving into Wukong's command and dying instantly.
What was that?
I mean, honestly,
man,
I kind of like the idea of Dyrachyo because he does this shit. He does super high-risk, high-reward plays. It didn't work that time, but if it had, we would have been calling him the hero of the game. But this, he has to BKB here, obviously, to get out of the storm. And this...
Yeah.
I think also a little bit unlucky. I think Nightfall got like triple crit there. Woo! Yeah, a little bit of a polarizing reaction again, but this time it's the other way.
Reversed.
All right, BetBoom have to end the game now. There is no way they let this slip away now. You're 5v3 for a full minute. Quinn.
Yeah, they know he's there. He's going to get Searing Chain. They actually break the Linken's. There's the Aghanim Scepter Doom, but Pure is bushwhacked to a tree. Now Nightfall. They're able to catch up to this Broodmother, and Ace is dead, no buyback. And BetBoom finally should be able to finish this game. Pure jumps back in, the Doom's still going, and they'll be able to take out Quinn relatively easily now that he's completely outnumbered. Another Wukong's command, and Quinn, last remaining member, but not for long as GG's come out.
Oh, that reaction from Pure. That reaction from Pure was so telling. Oh my god, I want a replay of that player.